So I'm taking my son to a swimming lesson a few weekends back, and next door to the swimming place is a guitar center. So I walk into the guitar center during the swimming lesson, walk over to the used wall, and lo and behold, I see a pink Charvel. Being a child of the 80s, I just couldn't help myself. This kind of gives me 80s vibes, right? That inspired the whole track at the beginning of this song. Went for kind of an 80s track. It even inspired some 80s lighting. Check this out. I created lighting packages around this guitar. This one, I just call this YouTube 80s. This is what I call going full YouTube. You've seen the YouTube thing with the colored lights in the background. I can't be full YouTube all the time. So we're just gonna go back to standard video lighting. So today we're gonna talk about the Charvel Pro-Mod DK24 HSS. We're going to talk about how just awesome these guitars are, but more importantly, like how great of a deal they are, especially on the used market. I bought this one used, and you can pick these things up used all day long for about $700. So that's the point of this video, how good this thing is for like 700-ish used. I think new, they're about $1,200. So first a little bit about Charvel. You might notice this is a very Fender looking headstock because it is a Fender Strat headstock. So Charvel is owned by the Fender Musical Instrument Corporation. Charvel is one of their brands that is under their umbrella. But back in the day, Mr. Charvel himself was, I believe, I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure he worked at Fender, like as in the custom shop or did something like that. And then he left and opened a shop up in the 80s in California, I believe, where he would take people's, Fender Stratocasters and mod them, soup them up, put like Floyd Rose bridge on it, put a humbucker in the bridge. And he became known around the area as a guy who could like hot rod your traditional Fender guitar. Charvel has a long history then of bringing their own guitars to the market. They have a long history that has to do with Grover Jackson and Jackson guitars as well. But these days, Charvel is building these sort of super Strat, super Telly type of guitars under the Fender brand, and they build them in sort of like different tiers. So this would be an example of one of the more affordable tiers. This again is the Pro-Mod series DK24. DK means the dinky body. This is a Strat shaped thing, but it's actually slightly smaller than a Fender Strat, and the curves and it's a bit different, like the bevels and things like that. It's a Strat style guitar, but it's slightly different as far as the way it's shaped. That's what DK24 means, 24 frets, which is another thing that you don't really get on a Fender Stratocaster. HSS means humbucker single. So that's sort of the layout of the whole guitar and what it all means. Like I said, this is representative of one of their more affordable line of guitars. These are made in Mexico. So they've got a bunch of guitars sort of in this series. You can get a humbucker, you can get a HSH, humbucker single, humbucker. They've got all of these available at sort of around the same price point. I think it used to be right at like $1,000. I think it's a little more now. But you can find them used a lot. And they make great modding platforms as well, which we'll talk about later on in this video. So now let's talk specs. I've already told you about the body shape and size, the pickup configuration. Let's talk about the neck. So this neck actually reminds me quite a bit of the PRS wide thin neck profile. It's not exactly the same. I have a custom 24 with the wide thin, but I would describe it's a fairly wide neck. And it's not very chunky, but it's comfortable. It's kind of asymmetric, like it sort of fits the palm of your hand pretty well. I don't know whether it's completely, you know, symmetrical on the curve. It doesn't feel like it on like the profile on the back. I find this very comfortable. If I were you and you're considering one of these guitars, if you're okay with like thinner necks, you could go for it. If you're not sure, I'd try to find one of these and play it. You know, you can change the pickups, you can change the tremolo, you can change the setup of a guitar, you can polish, you can do your own fretwork and make it play great, but what you can't change is the neck. And the neck is the thing that you interact with the most. Personally, I really like it. I find this guitar very easy to play, very comfortable. In fact, I'm kind of like gravitating toward these like thinner, more like shred type of guitars. I don't know why, I just love them. So the hardware on the guitar, you've got the Goto 510 bridge. This is a very high quality bridge. One thing, sort of the theme of this guitar is it is an imported guitar, at least to the United States. It's made in Mexico. That lowers the price point on these instruments, but they use a lot of really high quality parts on them. So the Goto 510 is a high-end bridge. It's like the type of a bridge that you would swap out on a, you know, and replace with on a lower end guitar. Sir uses the Goto 510, or at least they used to on a lot of their instruments. And Sir is about as high end as it gets for a production model guitar. So very, very good bridge in this guitar. The electronics, I haven't like opened them up to see, you know, what kind of pots are in them. It feels very high quality. This has got like a low friction volume pot, which is cool. Switch feels great. No complaints on the electronics. All the pickups are made by Seymour Duncan. These are, you know, premium level pickups. The bridge is a full shred, Seymour Duncan full shred, high output. This is a rock and roll guitar. High output bridge, and then you've got Seymour Duncan flat strat middle and neck pickups. We'll come back to the pickups here in a bit. You can also jump forward along the bottom to the section where I just kind of show all the pickup positions. You've got, you know, Charvel locking tuners. I have a Fender Strat that has the Fender locking tuners on it. These feel very similar. They just have a Charvel brand on them. These are great. I love the functionality of these tuners. You can see here, I bought this used, so it had an aftermarket Tremel No system built into it. I'm actually not using it. This is the Tremel No lets you like block the trim. You can move this piece up and the trim doesn't move. It does not come stock on this guitar. I don't use it. The tremolo works, you can see. I'm not going to take it out though, because everything is fully functional and it plays great and it stays in tune, which is nice. The nut is cut and finished very well. Jumbo frets, neck, the fretwork, it's all great. Everything feels very smooth and very high end on this guitar. And then the switching system is fairly unique. I'm going to go through what the pickups, the pickup positions are, and then I'm going to show you playing samples in all these positions, sort of with a cleanish type of a sound. So position 1 is the bridge, full humbucker mode. Position 2 is bridge and middle. Position 3 is the neck and one of the humbucker, like a split coil. So it's kind of like a telly in that regard. Single coil bridge via the split humbucker and single coil neck. Position 4 is a typical Strat position 4. You've got the neck and the middle together, and then position 5 is the neck pickup. The tone pot has, like, you can feel the detent at 10. So my guess is it's one of those pots that just pulls itself out of the circuit whenever you're at 10. And then like I said, you've got this zero friction volume pot. All right, so let's hear what these pickups sound like in each position. First of all, talk about what I'm running this thing through. In that opening song piece that I did, sort of the 80s track, I used a Line 6 Helix, just straight into the Helix, using the Brian signature patch, the live version of that patch. Now, for these playing samples, and any of the other playing samples in the video, I'm gonna run this pedal board that you can see here in front of me through the Quad Cortex, and in the Quad Cortex, I'm running just stereo amp captures, a matchless C30 on one side, and a Marshall Super 100 on the other. It's a great sounding combination of amps. All right, so starting on the neck pickup. I want to talk about the playability of the guitar, and then we'll come back to the pickups. As I said, this guitar plays and feels great. I bought it used, so I can't speak to how well these things play straight from the factory with the setup. I have played a number of Fender guitars, and this is a Fender product essentially, and they all come set up and playing great when I've played them. like the Ventera series. This would kind of, I think this would be on the same level as like the Ventera series. Made in Mexico, same type of thing. I don't know if Charvel has a separate factory apart from where Fender is building the Made in Mexico models. If I find that out, again, I will subtitle it, or you can let us know in the comments, because I'm sure many of you probably know this information. But everything about this thing feels high quality to me. It's a matte pink finish. Oh, one other thing I didn't mention on this guitar is this. I think this is a Guthrie Govan thing, because Charvel did or does a Guthrie Govan signature model, very high-end instrument. But I like the way this little input jack, it's in a weird position, but it's also very convenient when you play. It's just out of the way, and you know, it comes out of the guitar this way. So if you pull it, you know, up through your strap, it fits very well. It's a great design. Another thing I didn't talk about was this heel carve. This is great. Like this upper fret access, you know, if you play up here a lot, this feels really good. And just the way it fits in your hand so well, it kind of makes, when you go back to like a Strat or a Tele that has like the, you know, a much bigger chunk of wood right here and it's squared off, it's like holding it like this. This feels so much better to me. It's very sleek. The guitar is very lightweight. And I love the jumbo frets. I did polish them when I got the guitar. It's something that I do with all the guitars that I have. Every once in a while, like if your frets start to feel kind of scratchy, you can get like a fret polishing kit and just polish them, and then they feel nice and glassy smooth when you do a bend. This I believe comes set up with 9s. I'm pretty sure it had 9s on it when I got it, but I'm kind of really enjoying like hybrid sets, like 10 on the bottom and 9 on the top. Most string makers will make that, you know, light to extra light hybrid set. So that's what I've got on here right now. So 9s, it's basically 9s up here and 10s down here. And it feels really good. This guitar was very easy for me to set up the way I like to set it up. So the bridge is floating. And you can completely dive bomb. It does stay in tune really well in my experience. Once you change the strings, you gotta kind of let them time to settle in. But once they do, this thing is pretty rock solid. Trust me, that intro song with all the bends in the solo section I had to do many takes on that song, and this thing stayed in tune like a champ. It has like a matte finish, a satin finish, which I like. I think this model also comes in white. And then there are other models that come in different colors with different pickup configurations. So I love the aesthetic that they're going for on these as well. So let's talk about these pickups and the tones of this guitar. And spoiler, I'll just let you know now, I already bought another set of pickups that are going in this guitar. I just can't leave well enough alone. Bradford and I are gonna make a video about how to know when it's time to swap pickups. And so I don't dislike these pickups at all. I don't think they sound bad. I just want something a little different. This is a very high output bridge humbucker. I can't remember, it's like 15 or 17K. That actually doesn't bother me. You might think like the praise and worship thing that we do a lot, you know, these lower output, super high clarity pickups are so popular. It's fun to have like something that breathes a little bit of fire in the bridge of your guitar. And I think you could do a full, like the question is, you know, if you could do like a full-on worship set with this, I absolutely think you can. I think some of these cleaner positions with the single coils are just beautiful sounding, and like this bridge can rock, and you know that's often what you want when you flip to a bridge pickup. And you can always pull the volume on the guitar back just a little bit to clean things up. I think this pickup combination works well. You heard for yourself in the playing samples, but I'm going to give you sort of my my impression of these pickups and maybe talk a little through why I'm choosing to change them. So the bridge humbucker, great. Full on rock and roll. It has its own sound, which I like, but it's not the sound that I really want for my style of playing. I think the 2 position is beautiful on this guitar. It's got that Strat quack thing, but it's you know it's got a really nice transient single coil type of a sound. It's my favorite cleaner position in this guitar. Now the 3 position, which is the bridge, split, and the neck together, works really well, but I find it, if I have a complaint about this guitar, it is in the way these pickups sound in particular positions. That position to me, it has this thing in the high end that seems a little harsh. So jury's out whether the pickup swap that I've got coming will fix that. But I like that that's how the wiring is set up. Like, I think that's really cool, great idea. I don't love the 3 position with these 2 together. I want to love it, and I think I could love it eventually with the different pickups. We'll see. The 4 position is your traditional Strat, you know, neck and middle, and then the neck. Now, the neck, I don't have a lot of experience with these Duncan flat Strat pickups outside of this guitar, but to me, they're really warm. So I was, you know, I'm hoping with the pickup swap for something with a little more high-end clarity in them. But they definitely have a tone that I like. Like, the neck is very warm and creamy sounding, which is a cool combination with the bridge, honestly, because you get a very wide palette of tones. And then the 4 position does what a 4 position Strat does. You heard the playing samples, and there are a lot of demos on this model out there. I think when Charvel introduced this, it made a bit of a splash, and I think, you know, they've been very popular, and so a lot of content has been made with these. But you can go listen to other demos of this guitar with these pickups through different rigs, because there's a lot of variables going on when you listen to a demo of a guitar on YouTube. So all that to say, it comes with high-end pickups that very well may be exactly what you're going for with a guitar like this. But when it comes to these guitars, they're a great modding platform because you can change the bridge, you can change the pickups, you can change the way the guitar sounds completely. You can put different frets on it. You can put stainless steel frets on it if you want. You can put a different nut on it. You can make the guitar play as good as it can possibly play. One thing you can't change is like the neck, the wood, the vibe and the whole feel of the guitar. And I really love the vibe and feel of the guitar. I just want the pickups to sound different. Notice I didn't say better, I said different. So I do have a pickup swap coming, and I'll just tell you what they are real quick. I got a set of Fralin pickups. I got the modern PAF bridge with the higher output option, so it's like a 9.5K output bridge. So it's still going to be a pretty hot bridge output. And then I got Fralin's high output Strat middle and neck. If you want to see a video about what this guitar sounds like before and after the pickup swap, let me know in the comments below. But just to conclude, these are killer guitars. If you have a chance to play one and try one out, I would suggest go for it. See if you like it. See if the neck is something you like. I mean, whether or not you like this whole aesthetic is going to be one thing. I get a feeling you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. I love it. Like, I'm planning to play this in church very soon. I've played my purple iconic Super Telly in church, and it was a lot of fun. And the worship leader came up to me and she said, "Brian, that is a very purple guitar." I said, "Yes, it is." I said, "Purple's the color of royalty, so it's in the right place." So I might play this guitar. I'm playing this weekend on Sunday. So I might play this thing on Sunday. We'll see. All the guys at church are like, "You've got to play the Charvel, man." So this thing, whether you like the look, is going to be a thing. But I can tell you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it is a very high quality instrument, very well made, high quality components, and it's just got like a really cool vibe to it when you play it. It feels great. So check them out. And like I said, these things are a deal on the used market. We get a lot of questions on the channel. We'd love to see more guitars that are like $1,000 or less, $800 or less. Like, this is an option for you at those price points if you go used. If you go brand new, I think they're $1,200, which I think is still a really good deal for what you get. Hey, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.